In the headlines, Appeal Court declines federal government's request for adjournment in stay of execution hearing for leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu. Wike accuses Atiku of appointing enemies of Rivers into his campaign council. DSS confirms U.S. alert, tells Nigerians to be watchful. And finally, on the foreign scene, Rishi Sunak wins race to become new Prime Minister. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining us now on the news in detail. The Court of Appeal on Monday refused to grant requests on the federal government to adjourn the application seeking the stay of execution of the judgment that struck out the terrorism charges against the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu. Rather, the court gave the federal government till 12 noon to move its application. At the day's proceeding, counsel for the federal government, David Kaswe, complained that he was served with counter-affidavit by Kanu's lawyer, Michael Zokome, last week Friday. Kaswe claimed that a list of one additional authority was served of him this morning and that needed time to react to the authority. Counsel for Kanu, however, objected to the request on the ground that only one additional authority was served and the federal government should have no excuse to seek adjournment because of that authority alone. Azokame claimed that the government is yet to obey the court order of October 13 and that ordered Kanu's release. He told the court that the freedom of Kanu was being trampled upon as he was terminally ill. He further urged the court to reject the request for any adjournment. The presiding judge, Justice Haruna Sanami, subsequently gave the federal government till 12 noon on Monday, that's today, to move its application for the stay of execution of the judgment and to respond to the fresh one authority cited by Kanu's legal team. And still on legal matters, the Federal High Court sitting in Calabar has declared Basi Otu as the authentic governorship candidate for All Progressives Congress in Cross River State. Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu made the declaration while delivering judgment in a suit in Calabar. Ojukwu in her ruling said that a candidate contesting for the position of a governor must be Nigerian, meet the stipulated age requirement and have basic qualification, according to the Constitution. She said determination of a governorship candidate of a political party remains the right of a political party. Otu's challenger and an APC governorship aspirant in the state, Owan Eno, had after the primary in May approached the court seeking to disqualify Otu as the APC's governorship candidate for the 2023 general elections. This has put to rest months of speculations and division in the Cross River State APC as the party prepares for the 2023 campaigns. And the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Sokoto State has inaugurated its governorship campaign council for the 2023 general elections. The party appointed Governor Aminu Tambuwal as the chairman of the council and Yusuf Suleiman, a former Minister of Sports, as the Director General. Inaugurating the council in Sokoto on Sunday, Tambuwal said he had ceded his appointment as the chairman of the council to Atahiru Bafarawa, the former governor of the state. He said Bafarawa will lead the state campaign council following his commitment as the Director General of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. The governor described the appointment of Suleiman as the DG of the Governorship Campaign Council as an indication that PDP always stood on its words of equal treatment for all members. He stressed the need to ensure that they give the mandate to someone who will lead Nigeria to greatness. Tambuwal further urged the PDP supporters in the state to sustain their self-discipline by ensuring violence-free campaigns. In his acceptance speech, Suleiman said that the campaign team will work closely with all PDP members in the state to ensure its success. And still on political matters, as the 2023 general elections draw near, women groups are clamoring for more inclusion in the political space to ensure that their concerns are addressed and a balanced leadership is enthroned in Nigeria. This was part of discussion at a Women Manifesto conference in Abuja, where the importance of the rejected 5 gender bills at the National Assembly during the last constitution review took center stage. Trust TV's Aisha Saliu reports.
This gathering of women believes Nigeria is not living up to its commitment to ensuring gender equality as stipulated in the National Gender Policy in terms of the low representative percentage of women in elective and appointive offices. They want gender to be mainstreamed as women remain powerful agents of change whose far-reaching benefits in leadership and decision-making are increasingly recognized in all spheres.
Democracy is also about representation. The reason why it's important to have, I think, parity, which means equality, in women's representation when compared with the men, is that Nigeria has signed a lot of international commitments that said that we will prioritize gender equity and equality. Equity meaning that we are going to put conditions in place that enable for people to compete fairly, everybody. And then equality meaning that we believe that when we all are represented in percentages that are commensurate with our size of the population, we'll have a variety of voices and issues that are brought to the table that represent all the concerns of the people. So it's democratic to be gender sensitive.
Open our minds, to who is going to help the Nigerian women and the young women as well, because they are the leaders of tomorrow. We must give them the opportunity to begin to think leadership, to begin to think positive, so that many of them will be talking, much more than we are talking.
Although the rise of insecurity in the country and the economic downturn have equally threatened more women contesting for political offices, these women groups suggest the creation of a trust fund for women. While soliciting more support from women folk, they believe that the rejection of the gender bills is a deliberate conspiracy against women.
And we need to go work on that fund thing and see whether we can raise funds from people, individuals, private individuals, then support. It doesn't matter the political party, just support women. Because what grounds will you turn down 5 bills that we're not going to do any harm to you, even if you give us 3/5? But to give us 0/5, I think that's just being mean.
In developing a strategy to balance the power equation in leadership and elevate women in decision-making, these women say creating an enabling environment to see women thrive politically should be at the forefront of the manifestos of any of the candidates for the upcoming general elections. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And moving to matters of insecurity, at least 3 persons have been killed in Senkem, Ukembiaragia Sware Council Ward of Logo local government area of Benue State. A community leader who craved anonymity told a correspondent on telephone that the incident, which occurred near Arufuru Road town, caused pandemonium among residents. Chairman of Logo local government area Salomi Tor, who confirmed that 3 people were killed, noted that the first incident involving a young man happened on Friday, while the remaining 2 persons were killed on Sunday. When the police public relations officer was contacted, that is ASP Catherine Anene, she said she's yet to receive the report of the incident. And following the security alert by United States Embassy Nigeria to U.S. citizens in Abuja on planned terrorist attack, the Department of State Services, DSS, has called on citizens to be alert and remain calm. The DSS, through its spokesperson, Peter Funaya, said the alert was similar to that which has been issued by the service recently. While advising that necessary precautions are taken by all and sundry, the security outfit called on people to remain alert and assist security agencies with useful information regarding threats and suspicious criminal acts around them. The U.S. Embassy had, in a press statement published on its website on Sunday, issued a security alert to Americans, noting that there was pending terrorist attack on public places in Abuja. The embassy warned Americans in Nigeria to be conscious of their movements and to avoid all non-essential travels or movements, stay alert and avoid crowds. The recent call to self-defense by former Defense Minister Theophilus Danjuma resonates with Benue State residents, one of the states suffering insecurity in Nigeria. With the call for self-defense by former Defense Minister General T.Y. Danjuma retired, residents of Benue State react as reported by Trust TV correspondent.
This is not the first time the retired Army General is making such statements. He said the same in 2018 in response to the security challenges in the country. Residents of Benue agree with the general, whom they said is experienced in warfare.
We cannot just sit down as dogs and wait for them. So he said this same thing in 2018 and he's repeating it again. For a man like T.Y. Danjuma, that's a general, once a soldier, always a soldier. So he knows the intricacies. He knows stuff that you and I do not know. So I respect him for that call, for repeating the call again. A call he made 4 years ago. So we should arm ourselves. We shouldn't wait for the federal government. Katsina, they gave Katsina the right to do that. And they didn't give Ondo. So now they are both APC states. So now you understand that this is beyond partisanship. This is the governor of Ondo cried out. Why would they give Katsina? They won't give them. So it's a good call. Nigerians around the country should not just sit down and allow these people come to us and harm us. We should also get prepared. And, when they know that we are armed, they themselves would also know that, okay, inside they come, they get fire for fire.
The residents also said it is a tough time for Nigeria and the challenges are enormous. They said Nigerians should unite to face common enemy and save the country from disintegration.
As Nigerians, we need peace. And anything we are doing in this country, without peace, we cannot achieve it. Without peace, we cannot attain it. So if we are having cases or issues of insecurity every day, and the federal government is there, the federal government cannot do anything about it. I believe it is better for us to embark on a way that we protect, or the way that what we can use to defend ourselves. There is every need for us as citizens of this country, and if we want this country to keep, or we want to move together as a country, there is every need for us to defend ourselves.
You can't handle a cutlass against a person who is holding a AK-47. When these people come, our farmers, they don't have anything to protect themselves. Rather, they'll be running to their safety. And these people will be just killing them anyhow.
Buhari's Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, has reiterated government's promise to end insecurity by December this year. However, cases of attacks on communities by bandits are still prevalent, with reported herder farmer killings in Benue.
And away from insecurity matters, the International Fund for Agriculture Development has announced a new $5 million grant to the Nigerian government to help farmers adopt climate-resilient agriculture following the massive flood that devastated farms. The Associate Vice President and General Counsel for International Fund for Agricultural Development, Catherine Megan, made the announcement during a bilateral meeting with the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mahmoud Abubakar, in Abuja. The meeting, which was held at the Foreign Affairs Ministry, was part of Megan's 2 days working visit to Nigeria. Megan said IFAD has worked in close partnership with the government of Nigeria to really focus in particular on the smallholder farmers in the rural areas who are large producers of food, adding that as the waters recede, her organization will help treat the land and be able to plant the seedlings to start producing food within a couple of months. Responding, Dr. Mahmoud thanked the IFAD official on behalf of the President, Muhammadu Buhari, for the new funding grant and commitments to helping Nigerian farmers. You're watching Trust TV News Updates. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at Imam who saved 262 Christians. Details of this story and more after the break. Do stay with us.
documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news updates on Trust Television. A recap of our top stories. We told you that appeal court declines federal government's request for adjournment in stay of execution hearing for leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu. And the Wike accuses Atiku of appointing enemies of Rivers into his campaign council. And moving on to other news, the ability to overcome challenges confronting the nation can be achieved if all stakeholders continue to contribute their quota to the upliftment of the nation through service delivery. This was stated by Clems Agba, Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, during an induction course for public service officers in the state capital. Fatima Musa was there and now files in this report.
Who was represented by the Special Assistant Philip Ubodaga, said the induction course will strengthen capacity of stakeholders on strategic development plans for the country in the nearest future. He said participants would actively participate in the course for policy formation and implementation of government policies.
The ability to overcome the challenges confronting our nation is predicated on transparency, accountability, and inclusive governance, which can only be achieved through inherent capacity of those chosen by President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR to lead the process of designing and implementing appropriate policies of the government. It is my hope and belief that all stakeholders in this induction program will participate very actively and that the lessons learned will help in policy formulation and improvement of the implementation of government policies and programs.
Earlier, the Director General of Bureau of Public Services Reforms, Dasuki Arabi, said the move became necessary to pave way for public services reform that can improve productivity in the sector.
The overall objective is for governing board members to gain understanding of their roles, key responsibilities, and the behavior required of them in their respective organizations, both as individuals and as part of the board's collective responsibility, and how they can contribute effectively to promote corporate governance practice in their agencies.
Representing the Secretary to the Federal Government, Boss Mustafa, the Permanent Secretary, General Services in Beiri, said the induction course will broaden the horizon of participants.
I am assured that you will take this induction program very seriously and leverage on the gains as I affirm the unflinching support of His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, in the discharge of your duties.
It is hoped that the training will motivate participants to discharge their duties effectively with maximum productivity. Fatima Musa, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to Plateau State, where residents of Nga community of Barikin Ladi local government area of the state are celebrating the Islamic cleric Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, who saved the lives of over 260 Christians in the area. Imam Abdullahi had on June 23, 2018, shielded over 262 Christians in his mosque and his house when gunmen attacked Nga community and its environs. Trust TV's Ado Musa, who visited the community, reports that members of the community were delighted when the Imam made the list of the 447 recipients of the National Honor 2022 conferred on them by President Muhammadu Buhari. Ado Musa completes the report.
Imam Abdullahi has been receiving national and international awards since 2018 when he risked his life to save the lives of his Christian neighbors for his selfless service to humanity. The recent recognition for the Imam was the National Honor Award 2022 by President Muhammadu Buhari. Da Maful Mangai, ward head of the village, and Pastor Joseph Audu, who were among those shielded by the Imam in the mosque, shared their experiences of the attack.
Me, myself, I was running. I passed through this mosque. The Imam and his deputy and some subject. They called me and come and enter here. My mind said that if I enter there, maybe there is a plan. I want to run. One mind tell me that I just come back. I enter inside the mosque. When I enter inside the mosque, I meet our people, Christian inside the mosque and Muslim inside the mosque. Some they are crying. So Muslim and Christian, they are crying inside the mosque.
The Dua bear their minds on the recognition of the heroics of Imam Abdullahi by the president.
I was grateful for that day of the day because even myself, I did inside the mosque very that day. So I know that we lost a lot of people, about 88 people inside the passport, street passport, one for Cotton, one for CSC.
Other residents of the community also expressed their pleasure over the national honor, saying the Imam had deserved to be celebrated and emulated. Speaking on why he protected the Christians, Imam Abdullahi said he saw no reason why innocent human beings should be killed for nothing.
I felt I'm very...
My reason for shielding the Christian is this. God has created human beings, animals, vegetation, and other living things in the rivers, all for different purposes. So, why will you kill your fellow human being? I can't live watching this is happening to my fellow. I told the attackers that if they wanted to kill them, they should kill me first. He also speaks on what the honor conferred on him means to him. This national honor conferred on me means everything to me. My joy for the honor is limitless. I can't equate the joy to anything. Anything that can be imagined can be ended. But this can't be imagined. Only God knows how I feel. I pray for the president to live a healthy life. His son, Abdullahi Saleh, expressed joy over his father's gesture.
He happy, very, very happy. I was very excited, and up to now, I'm excited. The kind of happiness I'm feeling cannot be described.
More than 80 people who could not able to reach the mosque and the house of the Imam were killed during the attack and later given mass burial. However, with all heroic moments witnessed by the affected communities, residents say all the promises made to them after the incident by the government were yet to be fulfilled, adding that they still lack good roads, healthcare centers, among other social amenities in the area.
And now to business matters. First Bank of Nigeria has reopened its branches for business on Monday in Kogi State after over 1 month of closure due to alleged evasion of tax to the tune of 411.12 million naira by Kogi State government. A High Court in Lokoja ordered seal-off of all the branches of the bank in the state over the bank's failure to remit 411.12 million naira in taxes to the coffer of the state government. Many customers of the bank on Monday were seen transacting various businesses in the 2 branches of this bank in Lokoja. A customer, Musibao Ahmed, stated that it was a bitter experience during the closed period, saying that some of them had to go outside the state, particularly Abuja, to do transactions to keep their businesses relatively going for the period. The acting executive chairman, Kogi State Internal Revenue Service, Idris Sule Saliu Enehe, confirmed the development, saying the bank had settled some percentage of the tax. And on the international scene, conservative politician Rishi Sunak will become the United Kingdom's new Prime Minister after winning a Tories party leadership contest triggered by a dramatic resignation of Liz Truss. Sunak's win on Monday came days after Truss's resignation following her disastrous tax cuts, plans and policy U-turns plunged the market into chaos. The unprecedented economic crisis drew a rare intervention from the Bank of England. Sunak's only challenger, Penny Mordaunt, leader of the House of Commons and former Defence Minister, was reportedly backed by 30 MPs, compared with nearly 150 supporting Sunak. While there were rumors over Johnson's comeback over the weekend, he pulled out of the contest on Sunday. And also, emergency workers and firefighters have contained a raging fire that broke out on the slope of Africa's highest peak, Mount Kilimanjaro. And the fire's source, of which is yet to be established, broke out near the Karanga camp, located 3,963 meters above sea level through the Weka route. No casualties have so far been reported in the fire incident that started on Friday night near one of the mountain's most popular climbing routes. Videos went viral on social media on Saturday showing large flames and a blanket of smoke engulfing parts of the forest surrounding the mountain. Around 500 people, including firefighters, national park staff, tour guides and civilians were said to be at the scene on Sunday. And in sport championship strugglers, Middlesbrough have appointed former Manchester United and England midfielder Michael Carrick as their head coach. The 41-year-old had been out of the game since leaving Old Trafford after a 3-game stint as temporary boss after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's dismissal. Borough had been without a permanent manager since Chris Wilder was sacked, while Leo Pokovic in interim charge. Carrick's first game will be at the Preston in the Championship on Saturday. He had said it was not the right time for him to return to football, but had a chance of heart after a positive second round of talks. It is also a return to northeast of England, and Carrick having been born in Newcastle. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. For more, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.